Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's episode on the Fashion Fables podcast. We are so grateful to welcome Eliza, founder of Maman, an NYC based cafe, bakery, and event space. Eliza, thank you so much for coming on today. It's so nice to meet you.
Of course. Nice to meet you as well.
So let's get right into the questions. If you could just share some insight into your career path and what kind of led you to where you are today.
Yeah, of course. So I feel like I had a unique start. I actually started off my studies and my passion in fashion design. So that was a field, an area I always wanted to get into. It was always my dream to be a fashion designer. I studied that in school for about 4 years until I realized that pattern drafting and sewing and those 9-hour exams making shirts were not for me. And I was really more intrigued into the business side of things. So from then I fell more into the business element. So the merchandising, the marketing, the branding side of things. I really kind of enjoyed that, discovered my passion there, and then that led me into a multitude of different paths. And I think I was a very creative person, very entrepreneurial. I always had a multitude of passions. So I ended up finishing up school. I had a 9 to 5 job in fashion PR. And then at the same time, I always had a passion baking. So I started a baking and sweet confectionery table and cupcake catering company back in the early 2000s. I ended up getting into events through fashion and through my networks in fashion PR, and started event planning, fell into wedding planning because I did that for a friend. And then I found myself with a evening and weekend gig as a wedding planner. So all to say, I was just in a position in my mid 20s where I had so many different passions and I genuinely loved everything I was doing. I was doing, a little bit of the 9 to 5 job that paid the bills, and then evenings and weekends I was baking, I was event planning, I was interior designing, and I really was in that position where I had to find a career for myself and I had to choose a path. But I loved everything I was doing, and I knew what fueled me was waking up and really enjoying everything that I was doing. But I was at a point where I was only giving 10% to the 10 different things that I was passionate about. And I was really looking for a career that fulfilled all of my loves and passions. And ultimately, that didn't exist. So I knew that I had to create it. So in my mind, I was kind of toying around with what is my dream job. And I think I really like manifested it, and I mapped it all out. And I said, love baking and I want to do events, but I want to incorporate fun collaborations with fashion brands, and I want branding to be at the forefront. I want the interiors to be a big element of it. So I can kind of say Mama is selfishly like my dream job, and it was something that wasn't available, and so I had to invent it.
That is awesome because sometimes it could be like overwhelming when you're so passionate about things. You have so many things you feel like that you could steer into and like going for you. And when you're young, it's like the whole world's ahead of you. So it's like, where do I even like start kind of thing? But for you to like find that like area that you wanted to like grow and venture out into, I feel like shows a lot about your determination in order to finding what you like truly love and sort of like how you can build a brand now off of it. Um, I feel like Maman is very distinct and, it's interior design and, all the flowers and just different parts of it that make it so special and just a place where you can have a latte or coffee, but also you feel like you can relax and it's like super cozy. So, and I can also relate, going into my senior year of college, I have interest, in fashion. I'm actually studying public relations. So also like considering, do I want to work in a firm and just all these things, but I love working at Love Shack Fancy. Like, do I want to continue there? So I feel like it's just a good message that you put out there for just anyone listening that you can like find what you're truly meant to do if you just think about the long run and what you see yourself doing.
Most definitely. And I think any advice that I would give too would really to be try as much as you can and be so open to internships. And I must have had like 10 internships while I was in school, trying everything to really figure out what I'm passionate about. Because myself, even looking at my husband, who's also my business partner now, he was a corporate lawyer. He studied law for 8 years, and now he's, running Mama with me. So it's one of those things. I think it's very easy to think that you want to do something, when you're in college, but as you really gain that hands-on experience, you're never going to know till you're actually out there in the field, and you're never going to be able to gain that experience unless you're hungry and you try. So I really suggest to everyone, if you're interested in fashion, get a part-time job in fashion, get a part-time job in retail, intern in, at a PR agency in the corporate world. Like, make sure it's for you before you commit time wise, education wise, and kind of put all your eggs in one basket. Really try a little bit of everything. Be open, be curious, and say yes to everything.
Exactly, and I'm sure you never imagined, right, that you would be, like, business partners with your husband, like, it just worked out that way, and
Absolutely.
it's crazy, and I also think another important thing is to, like, not burn bridges, like, you might leave a position, but, like, leave in the right way because you never know down the road that previous connection, that employer could help you, and, also for your, like, reputation, I just feel like it's important to, just remember where you came from and never forget, who helped you along the way.
Most definitely. I think speaking to not burning bridges and keeping those connections is, you think New York is one of the biggest, busiest cities, but it's ironic how small it is and how many times I've crossed paths with people from, like, my careers that I've had in the future, and people have helped me along the way. And even in my years working in fashion, I worked for Page Premium Denim, for about 8 years. And when I first came to New York and I launched Mama and opened up there, this was also I was working for her based in Canada, and I moved to New York and launched here. And she was one of my best and biggest catering customers. And we would cater every fashion week for them. We would do cookies for them. So, just as you mentioned, always being respectful, always leaving jobs respectfully, and never burning bridges, because industries will always collide.
Exactly. Super good advice. So then let's chat about how Mama began and what sparked that desire to create the space for guests to have a unique experience at your locations.
Yeah, most definitely. So, I think, as I mentioned, kind of like selfishly, it began with a multitude of passions and me not being able to kind of find my dream job. So I knew I had to create it. But what I really saw in New York at the time, this was back in 2014, was really a void of shops that had warmth and had soul, and that were cozy and warm and welcoming environments. I think everything at the time was trying to be, very cool, very industrial chic, but I think looking at a place like New York City, it's not home for so many people. And I think that that's one thing that many people miss. So I really sought out to kind of create that warm and welcoming environment in terms of the aesthetic and the vibe of Mama. Mama itself meaning mother in French, and hopefully that will, spark good memories of home for many people as well, and kind of creating that ambiance that you felt like you were in your mom's kitchen, that you were in your mom's dining room. We use a lot of different, like, vintage pieces, antique pieces. I grew up with my father being an antique dealer, and the first store is modeled after my childhood dining room. And I really think that New York is not home to so many. So having a place that's warm and welcoming and comfortable, that has food, and bringing togetherness around the table, is something that's really important. And that was really kind of the main goal in opening. Events are a huge part of our business as well, so we do quite a few events. And I was wedding planning prior to opening up Mama. That was kind of my career, one of my many career choices. That was the last one right before opening up Mama. And I was tired of doing the big 100, 200 person events. And I really wanted to scale back and do something more intimate. And I really saw a lack in the New York City market, for someone like myself coming from the suburbs. Anytime you have a baby shower, a bridal shower, people are hosting it at their homes, and you have 15 girlfriends coming around the table together. But in New York, most of us don't have dining room tables, and some of us don't even have kitchens. So really creating that space that, was accessible to so many, that was warm and comfortable and great, family style food to gather friends and family around the table was kind of, the main ethos. And we really focused then and focus now on a lot of small intimate events like baby showers, bridal showers, birthday parties, and so forth.
I feel like having that homey vibe is important because, people aren't just coming to get like something from the bakery or a coffee, like they're coming for the entire experience. And I think nowadays, like you were mentioning, it's really harder to find. Like I feel like a lot of places, you know what you're getting kind of. It's very basic and the decor isn't, I feel like, as thought out and as just unique and how you lay out like flowers and different types of, like you were saying, antique pieces. So that left a mark on me as well. And also is why it keeps me going back like on my lunch breaks. Like it's just super pretty and super cute. And I love like the color scheme because it's like blue, but it's like a warmer blue. And I don't know, just the colors and like all the greenery from the trees. Like it just like works, I feel like. So
Oh, thank you.
and now you're not only in New York City, which is, like, pretty cool that you were able to venture out into different areas to kinda learn about different demographics and what other locations are looking for other than New York City, but still keeping that, like, personalized touch, so I feel like you'll only, like, learn as you go, and I'm sure you've learned so much along the way, but it's just
Oh,
awesome to, like, see the growth, I feel like, from start to now.
for sure. And I think, speaking to your point as well, about it being, more and more than just good food and coffee is, I think, especially having started and opening in a city like New York, there's so much great food and coffee. Even looking at Greenwich, like down the
Yeah.
street, there's amazing coffee shop, there's amazing food there. I think that we are especially in New York City, on every block, there's great food and great coffee. And there's so much competition. So how I look at it is people want more than great food and great coffee in a city like New York where there is an abundance. We got to be that much more, and we got to be something more special. So not only do we have wonderful food and wonderful coffee, I think it's also really creating that multi-sensory environment and giving people reasons to come to us instead of going to other places. I think you can take our coffee, for example. Not only is it going to be a great cup of coffee, but if you have it to go, it's going to be in a beautiful, like, hand painted floral cup. And then that, from a marketing standpoint on our end, is also, a great opportunity to help us further, advertise our space, because, you're likely not going to be taking a picture of your cup of coffee if it was plain white and boring and just had the logo on it. But if you have something that's a gorgeous floral print from a local designer who hand painted the cup, that's going to give you a reason to take a picture of it and to enjoy it that much more. I think prettier things taste better, and I'm a big fan of presentation, as I'm sure you can tell, having been in all of our shops, and hopefully our listeners can tell as well, seeing our spaces. I think food always tastes better when it's served in pretty cups and on pretty plates. And so not only is it a great marketing opportunity because we're giving reasons to people to kind of like advertise for us in this social media age, but I think also it really helps people want to stay and linger longer and really kind of create that multi-sensory environment and give them a reason to come to us for more than just great food and coffee.
I totally agree with the whole, like, it's prettier and tastes better if it's in a cup that looks, like, Instagrammable or just, like, aesthetic. Like, yesterday, like, I got an iced coffee, but I just asked to put it in a to-go cup because I love how it's, like, that blue and white and, like, the floral, and it's kind of ridiculous because it's supposed to be hot, but
It's funny you said that because I'm working right now on floral printed iced cups. So
Oh my
the pretty
god.
iced cups are coming soon. But I'm like you. If I'm walking down the streets, I want to have something beautiful in my hand. So I'm the same way. I'm like, I always ask them to give it to me in a hot cup, and I love the blue and white floral one, the peonies and the roses, which is actually a pattern that one of my best friends designed for us. That's a combination of my mom's favorite flowers, which is peonies, and my husband Ben and business partner, his mom's favorite flowers, which is roses. So all of those patterns also have so much personal meaning to them and stories.
and it makes it, like, so much more special now to know that, and I'm happy that I asked for the hot cup and also that you're
Exactly.
making the ice. That's just awesome, and I don't know, it's just obviously the coffee, like, tastes the same, but when it's in that, like, floral cup, I just, like it's just prettier, I don't know.
For sure. I'm with you on that.
So, can you now share some inspiration behind the decor and the aesthetic? I know you mentioned a little bit about it, in this color schemes, patterns, interior design, anything like that.
Yeah, so I feel like I really wanted to kind of do something a little unique and different and have guests really feel like they're transported in a home-like environment. So that's kind of the first element that I think of when designing all of our spaces is really warmth. And I know you mentioned like the warmer blue tones, which is awesome. And I love that people like actually notice that and appreciate it more than just myself.
Mhm.
I think it was a nice, I didn't want to go too feminine, and obviously our customer is both male and female, so I didn't want to go too
Right.
pretty and floral. I think the blue is like a our darker, it's called a Kensington blue, is more of our nice like a neutral navy. I think that tied in with the pops of the florals. We use a lot of vintage pieces that really stems from my childhood. I am a huge antique lover and shopper, and I'm just obsessed with finding beauty in old things. And my father was an antique dealer, so that kind of really stems from my childhood and spending weekends dreading it actually at the markets with him. So it's a funny family joke now that I want all of the pieces that he has, and I apologize. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for showing me all this.
Aw.
So and then adding the warmth. I think my husband is from the south of France. Maman is ultimately like a French cafe with a lot of North American influences. And I think we wanted to kind of take the beauty of the south of France and really add in some more florals and greenery, branches, and really kind of create that escape when people come in. I don't want people to feel like they're in New York City or they're on the heart of the avenue in Greenwich. I want them to feel like they've been transported elsewhere. And it's really that moment to kind of come in and enjoy your food. And I really strive to make sure that even from a packaging standpoint, if someone's not enjoying the food in our location and they're taking it out, that they still have that like extra sensory experience that's involved with them.
Right, just by, like, the packaging, I feel like a new or exciting experience, and they, like, look forward to eating the food or drinking whatever it is that they ordered, because it was, given in, like, a pretty box or whatever, and I think it's just awesome the fact that there's so much, like, history and connections to why Maman is designed the way it is, it's not just, like, because your favorite color is blue or something like that, like, it's more than just that, and the fact that, it's with your mom's favorite flower and then your husband's mom's favorite flower, like, combined, like, just a lot of thought to detail. I think that's where, it's a very special place. I'm sure for you, it means a lot, and so then to see, customers having this wonderful experience, I'm sure it's heartfelt and just a lovely, just to know and to see on social media people posting the cafe and, what it means to them. I just feel like it's awesome and, truly an awesome place. I'm so happy I discovered it, and I work
Oh,
across the street from it because I just love going in.
oh, well, that's the best, and that's what's keeps me doing what I do is when you see other people enjoying it as much as you. And one other thing I forgot to mention with regards to the decor that so many people ask all the time is the significance of the bunnies. So if you go into any mama, you'll see bunnies are kind of like a reoccurring theme. Everything from the coat hooks on the walls. There's little hidden figurines of bunnies everywhere. If you look at our toile print, there are little rabbits. So both my husband and myself had like stuffed bunnies as our childhood like doo-doos growing up, which we still have. And to me, what I really sought out to do was have Mama kind of spark memories of childhood. And I think that the name Mama, the warmth that the space brings, we were kind of going down memory lane and thinking what makes people feel good when being around food and the table and family. And that's really where it all stems from for me. And I think that bunnies are just like a cute little symbol that's relatable to so many, and I think it ignites like great memories of childhood for so many people. It's a fun little innocence. And I also have decor of children and food all over the walls. So in any bathroom you go into, in any location, you'll see all of our staff. Anytime we like onboard someone from the team, we ask for a baby picture of them involving food when they were young, and you'll see our restaurants are decorated with our staff, eating, drinking, birthday cakes, all vintage black and white photos.
That is so cute. Aw. That's awesome because it makes them feel special too, like, working there. They're like, "Oh, like, they care about what I was eating when I was little," and, like, I don't know, it just adds to the whole entire, like, history of the store and all that stuff, so that's adorable. Thank you for
For
sharing.
sure. Of course. And we call, all of our employees like we call family. I think, it's our family tree is kind of our flow
Oh,
chart
wow.
that we the office. And so, I think if you were to go into your mom's house where you are, I'm sure you'll go down and see lots of beautiful photos of you as a child. So I think it's nice. We want, to share that with everyone and make our employees feel like family when they're there as well.
That's so sweet, I love it. So, where can people find Maman, and what do you look for in a particular area when choosing to open in a new spot?
Yeah, that's a great question. So right now we have 30 locations. Greenwich was actually number 30, which is really exciting for us. I never envisioned it to be more than one, to be honest. So it's been a lot of growth over about 8 years. And when I think we really focused on New York. We opened up, and I'd say most of the major neighborhoods in New York City right now. And from there, we're really now feel like we've saturated New York, and we're looking to expand and grow into the suburbs. So, like Greenwich, we opened in Princeton, Ardmore. So we're seeing more and more, especially post COVID, that a lot of locals have moved out of the suburbs, and also from a business perspective, it's like building that name and building the brand and identity in a city like New York is so much easier than to kind of go into different markets. So after New York, our first market we opened up was DC. So we have three right now in DC. We have one in Georgetown, one in Union Market, one in Bethesda, and we have three more on the way there. And then the most exciting news that we just launched last week was we're going to be opening in Miami. So Miami is our next big market that we're opening. We're going to be opening in Wynwood and West Palm. Wynwood will be end of the year. West Palm will be beginning of next year. And then from there, hopefully others in the South Florida area as well, we're looking at. So, really what we're looking for, I think, firstly, when it comes to a location, is community. We really want to make sure that there's, a great, I think, our name really sums up our customer. I think we really definitely appeal to women 25 to 40, uh, who, appreciate good food, good style, good aesthetics. And we love sitting beside, a variety of different retailers from a clothing standpoint, because I think it really goes hand in hand with our clientele and our customer. And then we also, really sought out to look for good bones when it comes to the space. I think our aesthetic is really, based a lot on repurposing vintage items. So when we come into, beautiful vintage buildings, I think our Soho location is one of my favorites, where you have these gorgeous wood floors that were original from the early 1900s, and you have exposed brick walls. I think good bones is one thing that you can never recreate. And because that vintage look and feel is so iconic to our brand, we really want to be authentic with that. And I would never, put up a faux brick wall in a location, or, try and repurpose beautiful 100-year-old vintage floors. So looking for, great community values, and, from a aesthetic standpoint, good bones.
Okay, that's so interesting to know, and I have visited also the Princeton location. It's literally huge. I,
Oh,
like, loved it.
it is. Yes, that's our biggest one we have. It's
Oh,
gorgeous.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought because I walked in and I was like, "Oh my god," like, all after all the Mamans I've been to, like, it's never been this big, so I just feel like the seating area that's, like, so much and, like, it's so pretty and, like, the bakery, like, glass is, like, huge too, there's, like, so much and
Yeah. That's the nice thing about going outside of New York City as well for us is like you have space and you have,
yeah,
like it's not as expensive and we have space and you don't need to like cram tables in so everyone's side by side. But that's yeah, that's a huge advantage for us when we go to new markets that are outside of the city is we can definitely do larger format locations.
but that's awesome that you guys are opening in, like, Florida now because, like, I feel like iced lattes, like, especially in Florida where it's, like, hot all season, like, everyone will just, like, be wanting to go grab them, because it's always hot and, like, something
Oh, for sure. That
refreshing.
and ice matchas are also going to be a huge
Yeah.
hit, I know.
Yeah, so that's awesome, and you can also, like, learn about new audiences, like I was mentioning, and just go, like, vacation there too, just to, like, go
I
see it.
know. Selfishly, that's also why we're opening because I want to spend more
Yeah,
time there.
that's
Like
so
I need excuses to be in Florida all the time, so this is perfect. We're just gonna have to open a Mama there.
exactly, and they also have, like, a Love Shack there that's just on my end, so I'm, like, obsessed,
Yes,
but
for sure.
that's so
Exactly. We definitely share the same clientele. So we should Rebecca and I should just be like, let's just open up side by side everywhere. We'll do little Love Shack collab cups and be perfect.
stop, that would be so perfect, and, like, little, like, pop-up of, like, our clothes or something outside and, like, rack, that'd be so cute.
Absolutely.
Um, so I would love to chat now about the menu, and what some like favorites are from what you've heard or some of your customers, and if you have any personal favorites.
Yeah, definitely. So our menu started off being much more like French influenced. Our pastry chef is from the north of France and he is so talented and so fabulous. And when we first started off, it was really a lot of like more traditional French classics. What we really tried to do was recreate um some more southern French inspired dishes. So a little bit more of a Mediterranean influence. And we quickly learned that people still wanted American classic items. I think an avocado toast at a cafe with a latte is still a must-have, regardless if you're considered a French restaurant. I put French in air quotes, as you didn't see. Um, but I think what we always try and say when it comes to our menu is we're definitely like Southern French cuisine with an American twist. So what's been really fun for us over the years is to take some of those like more traditional American classic dishes and really reinvent them with French technique. And we've seen a lot of success in that in the pastry department. So, for example, one of my absolute favorites is our homemade Oreo cookie, which is obviously very American and something that is not traditionally, found in France. But what we do there is we make it with a salted chocolate cookie wafer base, and then we use like a white chocolate ganache on the inside. So he takes the concept of it, the flavor profile, and really adds the French technique to it to really elevate it. So if you haven't tried this Oreo cookie, it's everyone talks about our nutty chocolate chip cookie. That was like on one of Oprah's favorite things, and it's amazing as well. But to me, the hidden classic is our Oreo because I just love it's salty, it's sweet, it's a great size. It's not as like big and heavy as the other cookies. So for that like 3 o'clock pick me up with a coffee, it's a delicious option. And then the variety of salads that we have and sandwiches too. I think bakery is definitely our forefront, but we have tons of great lunch options. Our quiches are also a really big standout for me. I think that that's something it's really hard to find elsewhere. Not a lot of people do a good quiche. They're really high in protein, super delicious. And then it's also a great thing that you can have for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So I find sometimes if I get home from work late and I, don't feel like cooking, I'll just kind of like grab a slice of quiche and take it home, or you can have it for breakfast. So it's a really versatile dish that's super healthy, and our team does a fabulous, fabulous job making those. And what are my other favorites? The tawny salad is also that's kind of like on my hungrier but want to be healthy days. I always have a tawny salad. It's a farro bowl with roasted sweet potatoes, cabbage. We make a kale pea stew that we put on it, which is similar to a pesto. It comes with a fried egg. and it has a chocolate hot sauce, which is just unbelievable. It's a cocoa based hot sauce, so it has that like sweetness and that chocolate flavor, but then the spicy kick, which is so good.
Oh my goodness, I've never heard of that, but that literally sounds so good. Like, I love the salad you're talking about, like the fried egg. I definitely wanna try that.
Yes, definitely. It's more of a grain bowl as opposed to a salad. It's not like a leafy
Okay.
salad, but it's yeah, Tawny salad, named after Tawny, who was the chef who created it for us. That's another thing. All of our dishes will most of them have names to them, and they are either who the recipe was inspired by, who the recipe was created for, or who created the recipe themselves.
Okay, that's so good to know. Yeah, like, when I walk in, I just, like, order, like, a vanilla latte, so that's, like, what I just, like I
You
just
got to
go
try the
for
food
it.
now. Exactly.
But, like, I always see, like, there's, like, a million different, like, pastries, like, croissants, and, like, it just everything looks so good, like, the banana bread looks so good, like, I definitely need to, like, get something with the coffee instead of just getting the coffee, but,
Sure.
I
And
will.
we're a lot more vegan and gluten-free items as well. We just launched a vegan croissant. We have a vegan cookie, we have a vegan loaf cake, and then we have three different gluten-free items in store as well. So with more to come. So we're really like varying our menu to make sure that we can cater to a variety of different food preferences and tastes.
Yeah, for sure, and I feel like nowadays a lot of people do prefer, like, that vegan diet and stuff, so it's just good, like, for people to come in and know that they have something to choose from as well, you know?
Absolutely. Inclusive of everyone.
Yes, for sure. So, what is something you hope customers of Maman get out of their experience at your cafe? I know you speak on it, but if you just add anything else.
I always hope that they just make delicious memories. And for me, that's whether it's, taking a beautiful selfie with your coffee in front of a gorgeous background or having a wonderful conversation with an old friend who you haven't seen since high school and you're catching up around the table and just having great memories. To me, that's really what it's all about. I think it's just creating a spot for people to share a wonderful time and create good memories. And, to me, that's why I'm doing this. That's what makes it rewarding in the end. And it's what makes it worthwhile, especially from, the event side of things. When you can be part of someone's, best day ever, that's magical to me.
Yes, I agree. Honestly, just I'm sure you want your customers to have a good time. And I also like want to bring my friends to Mama just because like I want them to experience that. Like you walk in, it's just so pretty, and not only that, we can get like super good coffee or try or anything that you'd like or something to eat. So it's definitely so fun.
Ah, great. Yes. And you have to, yeah, the food is really stand out. Brunch as well is a huge draw for us too. We do a really great brunch business and have a lot of special items. Like we do some great French toast, shashukas, waffles. So we've really in the city become a known brunch spot.
Okay, good to know. So now do you have any future plans for Mama, like exciting locations or I don't know, just different ways that you're gonna brand yourself or something that you're gonna include in the aesthetic or anything?
Yeah, so I think definitely going into Miami is one of our biggest new upcoming plans that we have that we just announced. So that's really exciting for us to go into a new market, really trying to understand the customer, how we're going to position ourselves and, even like how our menu is going to alter. It's like, do we have to, go healthier? Do we have to, like, skew our menu in different ways or, aesthetic? So there's a lot of research involved, a lot of learning involved, so that's one element that I'm really excited for. But then in addition to that, my goal and what I'm really focusing on right now in the business is growing the brand into more of a lifestyle division. So uh not as much I think me personally stepping away from more of like the four walls of the brick and mortar, but playing around with fun branded items. And that's everything from like CPG items, like getting into more like consumer packaged goods, whether it be like grab and go granola. I would love to have a line of cookie mixes one day. I'm working on my proposal to write my second cookbook. We just did a collaboration with Lalo and did bibs, so more fun collaborations with different brands working on some more fun baby swag, some aprons, some candles. We just did a beautiful collab with Little Words Projects bracelets. And we did a line of Maman bracelets. So just really having fun with the brand and understanding our customers and what our customers want, and being more than just a food and coffee shop.
Yeah, so people, like, if they're not in any of the locations that you're in, they can still, like, have something from a mall, like, when I go into the Greenwich location, I see, like, cute candles and, like, a teacup, like, it's, like, blue
Absolutely.
and white, and, like, I see the Little Words Project bracelets, which are also so cute, and, like, I'm pretty sure, like, little, like, bagged cookies or something, like, to grab. So, I don't know, like, I remember those little things, and I feel like if it were to even venture out even more, like, other people would also appreciate that, so it's also just good to have, like, goals, to never just settle and always find new ways that you can grow and learn, so it's all good stuff.
Definitely. For sure. And online too. I think there's, in addition to being in the store, there's a whole world of, of consumers out there who love Maman, maybe came to New York City once and had a really great time there and memory there, but, don't have any plans to go back to New York and would love to, have a piece of Maman. So, we're shipping our cookies nationwide now. We're hoping and exploring to ship additional items as well, from a food standpoint. But then also, New York is just so tourist heavy that often people come and want to have something, want to have a little momentum of their time there that they can bring back with them, whether that be like a little bracelet, whether it be an apron, a cookbook, and so forth. So I'm just trying to think out of the box for some fun, unique collaborations.
Like, just, like, little souvenirs to have to remember their experience at Mama. It's all very
Exactly.
good ideas and, like, marketing tactics and stuff. Well, thank you so much for sharing everything about Mama. It's always a pleasure when I go in. I absolutely love everything about it, and
Aw, thank
really
you.
appreciate you taking the time to chat with me. This was so much fun, and I wish you the best of luck.
Most definitely. Well, thank you so much for having me.